In this episode of Mighty Car Mods, the Mira is getting a new butt.
Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods. It is the moment that everybody has been waiting for. Today, hey Benny, how you doing, man? Hey, man. Today, this is going into the white Mira, Martin. This is like the process we didn't think we'd have to go through, but then we did have to go through so that we can put all the stuff in there that we were meant to put in there ages ago.
Yeah, for true all-wheel drive Mira-ness, this is the floor that's required to be in that car. Big job, but today we are pulling the floor out of that thing. Last time we did the suspension, it's all gone. All it just has, it basically has a date with an angle grinder.
Have you done that before?
Never.
Have you done that before?
Not to this extent.
Okay. So none of us have done it before, so it's gonna be good. Should we just, what do we need, a reciprosaw?
Reciprocating saw, angle grinders, some pliers and some hand tools, just crack it.
And just cut the floor out.
Just start chopping.
And then put this in. And by the time we finish this, I don't know if it'll be today or tomorrow or in 3 years, but this will be in that. And the reason we're doing it is?
All-wheel drive skids.
Yeah, because otherwise the floor that's in there doesn't have the capacity to allow for rear drive shaft.
Nowhere to put any of the rear end. No bolt points, no nothing. That's
No
all
diff
on
mount.
this. No diff mount.
It's all in this.
All in that.
Let's get to it.
There isn't much left in the back of the Mira since we pulled it out a few episodes ago. And now we've got to get the back of the car up on stands, which is easier than ever because it's so light. Next up, we're pulling out the fuel filler neck and drawing in a rough template of what is about to get chopped.
The plan is we're going to get in the Mira, we're going to chop it using one of these things and some other tools. We use these to make half cuts usually.
Yeah.
Making half cuts. This time, I don't know what we're doing, but we're going to use this thing with a freaking epic massive blade on it and a grinder and another grinder.
Now our plan is actually not to try and cut perfectly exactly where this needs to be, because if we cut too far, we're kind of screwed. So we're going to get rid of most of the meat, and then we will get right down to the fat on the edge of the chop.
Rind off
and
the
then we will just nibble off that.
Watermelon out of the rind for this.
That's right. We spoke about it in the past. Some people cut the watermelon off the skin. We're going to be cutting the skin off the watermelon and slowly moving back until we are ready to insert the seed. It's like a watermelon seed, by the way.
Okay, good. All right, let's do this.
Let's do it.
There isn't much that can get in the way of the grinders and blades. We just have to make sure we don't cut into or damage any of the outer panels. The spare tyre is definitely not needed, so we're starting with that and helping it along with a boot. With that out of the way, we can continue to nibble our way outwards towards the outside of the car. Next, we can chop out the rear seats. The JDM seat will fit directly onto the new floor pan once it's in, so all this metal can go straight to the scrapyard. Because some of the skins are double layered, we have to peel off the top layer with the saw and grinder first and then chop the layer underneath.
How good's that?
So now that we've made an access hole here, it's going to be a little bit easier to get in to actually start drilling out this. What we've got to do now is the exact same process of what we did with the JDM Mira to get that floor pan out. The difference is that with that one, we could kind of just like drill through to get rid of the spot welds. With this, we can't drill all the way through, because when that floor goes in, we actually need something to weld through. So if you drill all the way through, you're kind of screwed. So we've got to be really careful. It's going to be very time consuming and take a long time. Marty's just marking up each of the spot welds with a pink texture so that we can see them a little bit easier, because they're quite hard to see. And then using these special drill bits, we will literally just drill through until the top piece of skin goes pop. And then hopefully this whole piece should just come out. Right, Benny?
Now that the spots have been identified with pink texture, we can grind back the sealer to drill them out.
I've got the pink bit that's here, and I'm sort of just drilling it just at the edge.
I normally go about halfway.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm putting my tip right in the pink,
Yeah.
but when I drill it, I'm worried that I'm just going to go too far because the base of it's going almost all the way through.
Yeah.
Don't bottom out.
Really?
It'll cause damage.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Okay. It's hard to know what's too far, like what's too far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I'm pushing it in, I'm smashing it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go all the way through and then just have the whole thing go through. Just be gentle with it.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff coming off my one, hey.
Is there?
Yeah, heaps. Sort of flying off everywhere.
Really?
Yeah. But I think I've got the right spot.
Yeah. I mean, it's feeling good where I am.
Yeah, same.
It is a lot about feel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally. You don't want to just go too hard because then you're on the second sort of flat bit, hey.
Well, I can see the hole now
Oh, really?
because I'm driving. I've driven straight through it.
Yeah.
I can't even see any pink anymore. It's completely gone. Look at this, boys.
This process is similar to removing the rear floor from the half cut, only this time, drilling the entire way through the wrong spot weld could mean that we don't have anything to attach the new floor to, so it takes much more precision and takes much more time. A lot of these spot welds can only be accessed once we've chopped through the box sections that the suspension mounts to.
So we've removed our first two pieces of floor. It actually looks like it's going to work. It's actually a thing. I can start to see now what's going to happen.
Yep.
Benny's just been smashing through the floor back there with the reciprosaw.
Such a boss with a recipro.
And basically it's a combination of using a reciprosaw, a drill, an angle grinder, a chisel, some mallets,
Yep.
some screwdrivers, and just slowly drilling out each one of these, smashing it off, prying it out. It's epic, man.
So this is the first one we've out and picked. So a lot of stuff we've sort of chopped out along the front. This is where your feet go in the back seat, along the bottom there, which is what we're going to use as our sort of front reference point for when we put the other floor in. But right now it's just a whole lot of drilling and grinding and cutting and doing before there's anything else major to see. Just smash into it.
So at this point we're just going to smash through it. We're just going to drill and chisel and bash and smash and just get it done.
So to make this floor fit, we need some reference points. And what we've done is we've cut out along the front of this sort of rear panel, right where about your ankles would sit if you're sitting in the back seat. So the important part is over here, and if you come and have a look, I'll show you. We come down from the sort of the side of the back of the section here, and then there's this little lip, this right angle lip, and you can see the spot welds that we've drilled out. We have to find that exact same spot in the white car to make sure that we're actually going to cut from the right area. So if you come and look in the white car, This is the area right here. You can see there's some seam sealer in it. That's the same angle, so we actually need to drill those spot welds out. There's one under there. Drill that, drill out, drill out, drill out, and then that whole section and all the way back over is gone. And we'll be done. We're not anywhere close to being done, but we'll be closer.
There is only a tiny amount of watermelon left in the back of this car, and with each piece of metal that falls out of it, we're closer to having it entirely stripped. We're moving the Mira further up onto the jack stands and placing them under the sills that are still part of the front section of the car. This time we are gonna get it done. It's time to show that we don't fall. Tonight we're gonna get on and show you what it's like to party every night until it's done. Once the spot welds have been surgically weakened enough with a drill and chisel, there's not much else that's going to make them budge except for a really big hammer.
After a few hours of hammering, drilling and chopping, the rear floor of the Mira is gone.
We got no floor.
No floor, Marty.
No floor.
How good is it?
Are you pumped?
I feel like we've actually achieved something.
Yeah. I'm
We've-
amazed how much metal comes out of it, and I'm amazed how much metal you have to get rid of to get to the next bit
It's
of
just
metal.
so fiddly.
To get to the next bit of metal. Like, you don't just undo a couple of spot welds.
Yeah, you have to do it in the right order, otherwise you end up cutting the wrong half of the car.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
So-
definitely a complicated process.
What's awesome about this is that the moment of truth is now upon us, where we try and test fit this into the car. This won't be the last time it goes in, because we still need to want to like clean up around here and make sure all the metal's all good when we weld it, so it's strong. But now is the time to test it.
I'm a bit scared.
Are ya?
it either proves or disproves the theory, that's for sure.
Yeah. We probably should have measured it.
Nah.
But I'm feeling
If
confident.
the tailgate fits, the floor should fit, right?
it
That's the
looks-
theory we've been operating on the whole time.
It looks
Close.
close.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's get out. How do we get out?
Go out this way. Go out the
the
door, Martin. How else would you get out? How do you normally get out of a car?
Let's do this.
This is going to be horrible noise. Oh, no, I'll be able to swing you a bit.
Yeah, that's the worst.
All right, now go. Just jack up the back.
Yep.
Sweet. That's what we want. Because then once it's in the right height, we'll slide it back. I think your jack's not tight.
Lining up on anything?
No, I think we're good. Just leave the jack there. I reckon we can almost lift it in. So close. It's literally just catching those edges now. It doesn't have to go back far.
No. Verdict?
Close but not same.
Close, but not exactly the same. So it lines up, all the spot welds actually line up, which is interesting. On the front, they're in the exact same position. At the back, we think there might actually be a difference with this back beaver panel. But being that this thing's been in and out of acid, it's been heated, it's been cooled, we've been like messing around with the car, a lot of stuff will have been flexing around. So it's sort of like you've got to really stress it to get it into place. But we're close. We're only out by probably 2 or 3 centimeters total. So I think now we just need to keep fiddling around with it. And then we have to pull it out again to clean it all up. But at least now we know what we have to change. The Mira has a flaw. It's not attached properly. It's not welded in. I wouldn't put any wheels or tires or driveline in it as it currently sits, but it sits in the car. So our concept is proven. We didn't measure it properly, but it turns out we never actually needed to.
Well, and it actually fits, which is amazing. A lot of people were saying, why would you go to all the trouble? Because we want to.
Because you have to, because you can't get it any other way. But
This system ended up being awesome that you could actually place it in there, because
Yeah.
this is not actually welded in yet. This is not actually attached other than using this little system up here. So it's still got to come down a little bit so we can grind back, make sure it's all rust proof.
Yep.
And then we can attach it, then remove this. And then we can actually get back to what we were going to be doing, I don't know if that was like a month or two ago now, which was a
Ages
while
ago.
ago, of actually putting in like the drivetrain and everything.
yeah, because I'm getting really, really keen to drive it. The other slight issue is lack of available parts. So there's one, I mean, you saw how bad some of the corrosion was underneath the car. Some of the suspension components didn't actually make it, like at all, like they're gone. They turned into dirt.
Yeah. So we have a bit of a problem now in that it's obviously really hard to get these parts in Australia, also known as impossible, and really, really tricky to get them in Japan. But we do now need to order some parts from Japan. We don't know if that's going to take weeks or months, but it's looking like it's going to be some time while we can actually get these things together. So that means it's actually going to be the end of the Mira just for a little while until we can get all of these parts in for now. Because Martin, I do believe there's another vehicle about to be pulled into this space.
Another very exciting vehicle.
Yes.
I don't want to say anything because I'll give it all away because I'm just chomping at the bit. Is that the word? Chomping at the bit?
Chopping at the bit.
I'm chopping at the bits.
Chopping at the bits. So there it is. We're wheeling the Mira aside for the moment. We'll take the man out of the Mira and we'll leave that there until we can get our parts in. Until then, there's going to be other stuff that is happening, and you can keep up to date with what is going on the Faceballs. That is faceballs.com/Mighty Car Mods. There it is, Martin. Mira. Why did we go to all the trouble, Martin? Everyone wants to know.
Because it's a Daihatsu, and you know what?
Because it's a Daihatsu.
No, well, yeah,
really?
That's the worst reason ever. No, because it's my car and I really, really like it. And I think in my head, I keep imagining or remembering, you know, this drift track, sunset, you know, Japan, clouds and stuff, and then you and I in the car and then ripping some handbrakies, pretending that we're drifting when it's just handbrakes, but it still felt like drifting, it still felt pretty wild. And I just imagine that one day it'll drift again. Got to get there.
That's the best reason ever, Martin.
Is it?
Because you like it.
Because I like it.
Well done. See you
All right,
guys.
man. I'm gonna go and eat some. You know those chocolate-coated almonds you get from Japan?
I was thinking of takoyaki actually.
They're like
octopus-coated almond.
Oh.